Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the new Team of the Year SBC Sabitzer card to review today. So we'll talk about this in the beginning a little bit, and then at the end we'll get the real gist of it, okay? Let's do this review normally, okay? And then okay? So, with Sabitzer's card, we're taking a look at someone who is 5'10" with high work rates, right-footed, 3-star skills with a 4-star weak foot. In regards to in-game player traits, he has the injury-prone traits and the outside foot shot trait, so no finesse shot traits for a card playing through the middle. He is starting off as an actual center mid in the game with his high work rate. So this is mostly a card, because of his basic dribbling stats, that I mostly see being played in the center mid position, playing in a 4-4-2 formation, because of his agility and balance being the way that it is. Now, because of his dribbling being as it is, I do like center mids that dribble quicker, right? So with a card like this, I do mostly see him being used in the CDM position with his high work rates, and we will be trying him out in both formations. He's got 81 acceleration with 88 sprint speed, which is good with the Shadow Chemistry style for the +10/+10 boost. Base card stats for shooting is pretty solid as well, with 88 attacking positioning, 86 finishing, and 93 shot power and 93 long shots. Base card stats for passing is pretty good. Don't have to necessarily improve it. Dribbling with the card will be decent for the CDM. Well, not decent. It'll be good for the CDM position. Center mid, like I said, I like to have players that are a little bit more agile. With Sabitzer's card, I think I did a review for his storyline this year, and the thing about his card is that his average body type does affect the way that this card dribbles in game, but with the boost that this card has been given, maybe an engine chemistry style could help him a little bit. So if you do end up using him in the center mid position, I think that his base card stats for defense will be good enough to have in that area, right? But we're giving him a Shadow Chemistry style just to see if his dribbling really is the way that it is, which I do feel like it will be, because his reactions, ball control, and dribbling is not like super high up there to compensate for it, right? With 85 composure. Base card stats for defense is set up a certain way, where if you give him the Shadow Chemistry style, you are giving him some pretty drastic defensive boost while already having an okay physical presence with 90 stamina, 82 strength, and 83 for aggression. So with Sabitzer's card, ladies and gentlemen, we just put a team here together because I had Konate just chilling there with Mukiele. We're going to go ahead and switch to 2 different formations as we do this review. So I want to use them in a 4-4-2 and also in a 4-2-3-1. You know the gist. We'll go ahead and switch this over here with Frankie de Jong playing over here. Switch that with Sabitzer. Suarez will switch here. Bam. And then that should be perfectly fine. With the instruction for Sabitzer on just cover center, we'll put cut pass lanes on him too, but just not stay back while attacking for the 4-2-3-1. And then we'll have him in the 4-4-2 setup, where he will be next to De Jong. We're going to switch this over here with Jean Felix. Switch that there. And we're going to have Sabitzer playing as one of the center mids. We're going to keep them both unbalanced, actually, so that Frankie de Jong actually plays to his work rate. So they kind of switch between each other, basically, right? So we'll see how Sabitzer plays there. The reason why I'm actually setting him up on the left center mid position or left center defenseman position is because he does have the 4-star weak foot, which makes him more usable in that position. So yeah, we'll just keep them both on balance. We'll switch between both formations. I think I'll mostly be using the 4-4-2 because I want to see what his dribbling, attacking, and defensive capabilities are like playing in that formation. So in this team, it is the ultra attacking one. Cool. So let's get into a game and see how he plays. Okay, so we're going to be facing a pretty meta-oriented team for the most part. All right, let's see how this card performs. Let's see what his dribbling is like first, actually. Okay, so you see how he has that emphasis about him? This is a card you're mostly going to be using in the CDM position, for sure. To fix that a little bit, you could give him an engine chemistry style, obviously, right? But, you know, just want to see what his dribbling is going to be like, what his attacking is going to be like in these situations.
This is how it looks for the home side. Steve Mondonda stands between the posts. Nominee Mukiele starts with Mendy in the fullback.
His tracking was actually pretty good right there in that center mid position, playing the 4-4-2, so that was pretty solid. Just got to mark this guy right here if we can. Oh, try to get that ball there. Made that work. Let's transition with the play here now. Use Sabitzer. We're going to force a run out of him right here. Actually utilize its middle space as much as possible. Get that pass off. If we can get it here, we do not. Yeah, he has, if you boost his pace as much as you possibly want to, it's gonna still be heavy-oriented running, right? So with cards like this, you're never gonna really fix that, you know, physical feel of the card in regards to running and stuff. Finesse shots? He's coming off of the dribble right there with emphasis, right? So you can totally see that. So with stuff like that, you could totally give him the engine chemistry style for sure. So it's going to be a combination of, if you want to use him as a center mid, I would 100% recommend an engine chemistry style. And if you want to use him strictly as a CDM, then a shadow would make the most sense. But if you want to be able to rotate between the two, I still would probably give him an engine and just sacrifice for the defense not being super up there. Because the pace would still be okay to have, so... His tracking is pretty good with the shadow chemistry style. He actually does go back into the 18-yard box and tracks after the attacker quite nicely. I've noticed that on 2 different occasions so far, so that's pretty good. It basically tells you that if you play a card like this in the CDM position, he'll offer a great defensive presence for you.
Their forwards have been really good as well, creating chances around that box. Can they put one away?
Oh, it didn't register my through ball. It just disappeared. That would have been okay. You see how he always tracks back really nicely? That is noticeable, I will admit to that. First time strike. We don't get that opportunity. His attacking AI was pretty solid there with the high work rates, though. They were pretty solid. I'm definitely going to tell you guys this right now, man. I feel like he still needs that engine, though. I would give it to him personally, but no right or wrong answer with that. If he had like a lean body type, it might have not affected the card as much, but, you know. Okay, guys, so what I would say so far with this card is that the most noticeable thing is obviously going to be the body type to dribbling, right? So that's going to be the 2 things that's going to be the downfall of the card for sure. Even if you give him the engine chemistry style, that base characteristic of his will still be there. But with the shadow chemistry style, he is defending really nicely so far. So, you know, like I said, in the CDM position, center mid position on stay back, it doesn't really seem to be that big of a deal so far. Because a player like this who is physical that might not be able to dribble as quickly, as long as he offers a good defensive role, it's not necessarily a huge issue, right? Nice goal right there, João Felix will take that. Oh, we had the post right there. That sucks. Still does that initial dribble thing, though. You can always see that for sure with this card. His track back is really good, though, guys. That is really super noticeable. Oh, and we skied over the bar on his 4-star weak foot. Oh, that would have been a good play there, too. Little 1-2 plays. They don't really work because the defensive AI will usually get those, but we try anyways. Nice goal there, João Felix. We'll take that. Okay, guys, we'll give him the engine chemistry style this time just to see if it fixes his dribbling. If it doesn't, then it's just a card you're mostly going to be using in the CDM position, I think, personally. But we'll see. Okay, guys, round 2. We'll start off and see if he dribbles a little better, at least. You do fix his dribbling a little bit with the engine chemistry style, but that base characteristic of his with the dribbling is still going to be there because of his average body type to base dribbling stats, right? So, like I said, though, if you're going to be using this card normally in your team, I still think that for your general experience, you do want to give him the engine for sure. You see how that initial touch that he takes is still emphasized? Involves himself in the attack really nicely there, though. He actually did a good job defensively there, to be fair. Basic interception, you know? good to be able to do the basic stuff there.
Toty so.
I am noticing that defensively, he's not performing as well, though, without the shadow. Alright guys, so final verdict on this Sabitzer card. So for me personally guys, if you use him with an engine chemistry style, it has to be in a 3 main midfield setup. What I mean by that is the core midfield part. So if you're using like a 4-3-3 or a 4-1-2-2, he'll work in a formation like that with an engine chemistry style. However, I'm not necessarily a big fan of this card in like a 4-4-2 setup playing in the center mid position with the engine chemistry style or with the shadow chemistry style because his base physical stats, not physical stats, his base body type with his dribbling stats, it's just not going to feel that responsive in game, right? That average body type with his base dribbling stats is just not going to feel the most responsive, right? So for me personally, this is a card that I mostly see being used in the CDM position with his average body type, 5'10" height, decent defensive stats, and decent pace in that CDM position. Because dribbling stats like this, playing center defensive mid is fine. In the center mid position, it's always better to have players that feel more responsive. Again, even if you give him an engine, he's just more usable in that 3 main core setup instead of the 2 main core setup, right? So if you unlock this card, it's because you want to mostly use him in the CDM position with the shadow chemistry style, in my opinion. That being said, guys, normally when I do play reviews, I like to analyze and take a look at each individual card, regardless of the price, because I know that some people like to do cards for, sentimental value, because we're all about sentimental value FC here. You know, if you have a Red Bull Leipzig team or you want to get these types of players because of your team, like when Paul unlocked the Oxlade-Chamberlain for 400k, the price was pretty ridiculous at the time. But I genuinely believe that this is the worst SBC EA has ever released. 556k for a very generic midfielder. Very generic midfielder. Okay, I'm not gonna get into this rant because I've done these so many times in the past, but this is like the purest form of EA's garbage, right? Like they've missed the ball a lot in general with certain things, but this is just such an out of touch, disgusting garbage thing to do. As I try to be as positive as I can be when it comes to doing these play reviews. Even when I did Oxlade-Chamberlain, I was like, oh, the card's up there in price, whatever. But this is genuinely like, for such a generic card, man. Such a generic card. It's crazy to me. Team of the Year nominee Sabitzer. Like, do you go what? I don't know. But hey, you guys know I'm an honest guy. This is how I talk. Okay, this is how I talk. But I felt disgusted completing this SBC for my main account because I knew nobody was going to do this, and I don't blame them at all. It's the worst SBC I've ever seen, 100%. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.